I'm not cheating, we're not using creative mode, we're not spawning items. So isn't it hard to get all these items? And don't you have to have a lot of money? Yes, you do. You have to have a lot of items, you have to have a lot of money, but you don't necessarily have to have complete double chests like I have here. Like you see, this is completely empty and some of these are completely full. So let me show you what you do when you're trading with a very valuable item. I mean, logs are valuable, but they're not the hardest thing to get in Super Earth. Let's go look at something like, say, diamonds here. We're going over to the row that trades in diamonds, as you can see here. So we're going to go over to the diamond row, and it's just like the other one. I mean, I'm not going to show you every single sign, but it starts low. That's a ridiculous price. You'll never get a diamond for 2.5. And it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up until we get to the current chest. I'm going to show you what I think is the active chest right now is this one for 5.8. Okay, this is what a setup we've got here, where obviously I've got a lot of stacks of diamonds here. It's a good amount. And there's some empty spots, but there's also a lot of just single pieces of cobblestone in here. And that's what we call filler. And what filler allows you to do is force the price to go up or down quicker than a full double chest. I mean, because look at it, there's the same number of chests here in this row as there was in that other row for birch logs. Obviously I have less diamonds than I have birch logs. It's harder to get diamonds. So what I do is I only do a row. Once this row is full, we're switching chests. We're going up or down. If you look at this one, there's only a row here. You can only sell me one row worth of diamonds, and then the price is going to go down another spot here before the price goes down. And you can do any amount you want. You see, I've got a row here, but if you get further down where it doesn't trade as often, I only have 2 in here, 2 stacks. I only have 2 stacks here. So basically that allows me to control the price and cover my bases without as much stuff, because it's pretty much impossible to get full double chests for some of these things that you're going to want to put on an exchange. So that's the concept of filler. And so basically the next point, that allows you to sell pretty much anything, because if you have it, you just spread it out. You're still going to need a lot of stuff if you're going to want to run a good exchange, and a lot of money, because people buy and people sell. You know, prices go down sometimes. But now we want to cover what some of the problems might be with an exchange. Like, some people have just saw my exchange and wanted to copy it. You know, yeah, that's flattery. They want to copy my exchange, but they don't know some of the pitfalls. If you notice here in my exchange, all of these are double chests. There's not a single chest in any of my exchanges, and this is the reason. As I just mentioned, I have filler in some of these exchanges. Let's pretend for a minute that these are single chests. And I'm some guy that has permissions to build. Maybe permissions went down in your system and somebody can come in here and build or something, right? Well, if they come to this chest, you see, if it was a single chest, this wouldn't be here, this whole last section of cobble. And I only trade in one slot. This is my highest diamond chest, where you can sell me diamonds for 9.5 zenny, which is something that I have never seen happen on the server ever. Well, if they put another chest down, that would put 27 free slots right here. If somebody could sell me 27 stacks of diamonds for that high of a price, I would be ruined. And somebody can link a new piece of a chest with your existing chest shop. It can happen. I've seen it done. It caused a big problem. So always use double chests if you're going to try to build an exchange. Never use single chests. Another thing, and actually probably the worst thing that you can do with that can destroy an exchange immediately, is a bad shop sign. Okay, just look at this place. It's humongous, right? This is just one row. There's 3 more sections like this. You see, I even have some of them double stacked. This is a lot of signs. You are going to mess up every once in a while making one of these signs. And if you mess up the wrong way, you can lose all your money. One of the ways you can do that is if you have your buy price higher than your sell price. So if somebody can buy something for 10 and then sell it back to you for 11, and then buy it for 10 and sell it to you for 11, you can see how you can lose all your money immediately like that. Also, the increment. You see how I'm trading with just one item right here? if you get the increment wrong, let's say I put 64 on this sign, 64 diamonds instead of 1 diamond. Well, that means you could buy the whole stack of diamonds from me for 10, which would be a great bargain for you. But that's not the worst thing you could do. If you do it the other way, if I go over here back to the logs, see I've traded for 64. If I accidentally put 1 on this sign, that means you would be able to sell me 1 log for 12 and a half, when really 64 is what you would normally have to trade in. So somebody would be able to get 64 times their money if I messed up on the increment. So always double check your signs. Get your friends to check your signs for you. Get your guild or nation or whatever you have on your server to check your signs, and just tell them, hey, I just made all these signs. Here's what I want you to look for. I will give you some items or some money if you check them for me, or if you find a bad sign, I will give you a reward. Because we just recently on our server had some upstart exchange. They had a bad sign and they lost everything. And, it's a shame, but unless you're careful, that's one of the dangers. I mean, big reward for having an exchange, big risk for having an exchange. Having covered all of that, the next thing is to cover here is the general design of exchanges, and what's a good design and what's a bad design, and what you need to have for building an exchange. Now this is kind of the center of our exchange, and you see in every direction here, this is shaped in a cross. People warp in here, which I'll cover in a minute, but basically in every direction from this warp, you've got exchanges. If I go down this floor and I go down here, more exchanges. So we've got 2 levels and we've got it spread out basically in a cross pattern. So what happens is this is the most efficient pattern. We've done several different designs. I've built about 4 of these as the server has kind of evolved and grown in size. And this is the most efficient pattern because you can most quickly get to the most items in the shortest distance. One thing that you may want to avoid, because it's come up, someone has tried to make an exchange in a tower, with lift signs or stairs, and 1 level for mining stuff, 1 level for logs, 1 level for this. That doesn't work very well, and the reason why is because of basically lag, FPS lag, server requirements. One of the problems with Minecraft is right now, see how far away I am from those signs? There's text on those signs right now. I can't possibly read them from this distance, but every sign that's in here within a certain distance already has the text loaded on those signs. It lags the game. A lot of signs lag the game. If you put a lot of signs in one chunk, so I guess a chunk is a 16 by 16 area, is going to force you to load that entire chunk all at once. Exchanges are very high demand on people's machines, and if you exacerbate that problem by putting all of it in one chunk or a smaller area than what we've done here, you're just going to cause more problems. So you need a big space, you need to spread it out, and you need to not stack it all up in one spot, or you're going to cause trouble for people, especially if they have lower end machinery. Another thing is, if you're going to have a successful exchange, you need to have a way for people to get to your exchange very quickly. That could mean a couple different things depending on your server. In this case, this is our warp. You see, somebody just appeared, and that was just perfect timing. But see, people can type warp consortia and just appear here, anywhere from our server. It took us building a nation and meeting certain requirements and an investment to get that warp, that public warp that any user can use. But that's access. That's like having your super Walmart right on the freeway. Location, location, location. If people can't get to your stuff, if it's inconvenient for them to get to your exchange, they're not going to come here. It needs to be as convenient as possible. If you don't have warps, that means you need to be located in your biggest population center on your server. So if there's a capital city, you want to be close to the center of the spawning point of your capital city. Or if there are minecart rail lines or some other kind of transportation like stargates or portals, you got to have one to make your exchange the most efficient as possible. That's the main points on the location of your exchange. There's one other thing I want to point out about the highlights is that what else we've done here is with these extra spaces in the corners is we've created player shops. And because the exchange is so popular, because it is basically the center of all trading on this very popular server that we're playing on, it's valuable real estate. It's like being in Manhattan Island, and trying to build a skyscraper. You're going to pay a lot more than you're going to pay for some empty field out in the boonies. So people are willing to pay big money for a little spot like this. You can see it's a 16 by 16 spot. People paid a lot of money. It's the equivalent to, if you donate to this server, it's the equivalent to about $25 worth of donations. So you can see that this real estate is quite valuable, and they trade in items that are just unrealistic to trade on exchanges. Oh look, a dragon egg. I'm gonna make an exchange for that. Webs. You can't even really get webs. That's like a hacked item. So all the items that are kind of awkward to trade, let other people do it, and sell them shops to do it. And it allows people to get creative and build little shops within your mall, an area, and it builds a sense of community and things like that. Let's see, I think we have covered all of the major points on exchanges. So I want to thank everybody for this watching the video. Thank you, Yomika-kun there, for inspiring me to do this video, who has been dancing around. And I hope you find this useful, and I hope that my idea of exchanges gets shown off in more servers now, and it's useful to you in your Minecraft community. Thanks again. Bye, guys.